What if everything you've been taught about good and evil is only half the truth? What if the very forces you've spent your life resisting have actually been shaping your destiny? The spiritual battle is not as simple as most believe. It is complex, deceptive, and filled with paradoxes. Some of the greatest breakthroughs come disguised as struggles, and some of the biggest dangers arrive looking like blessings. The chosen ones experience this reality firsthand. They don't just attract divine protection. They also catch the attention of the very darkness they are meant to defeat. But here's the most shocking part. Not every demonic interference is meant to destroy you. Sometimes it serves a purpose. Sometimes what appears to be an attack is actually a refinement process, stripping away weaknesses and revealing strength. The Bible itself is full of examples where what seemed like destruction was actually preparation. But only those with wisdom can recognize the difference. How many times have you fought against something, only to later realize it was pushing you exactly where you needed to go? How many times have you mistaken resistance for punishment, when in reality, it was a divine setup? The truth is, spiritual warfare is not about avoiding darkness. It's about understanding its role. The enemy cannot truly harm those who walk in divine authority, but he can test them. He can pressure them, distract them, make them question themselves. But every attack carries a hidden lesson, and those who learn to see through deception become unstoppable. The real question is, are you strong enough to discern when opposition is meant to break you and when it's meant to build you? Because once you see the game for what it truly is, you'll never be manipulated again. The spiritual realm operates on a plane beyond human perception, where forces unseen shape reality in ways most people never consider. The struggle between light and darkness is not always straightforward, nor are the entities involved purely good or evil. What we have been taught about morality often oversimplifies a reality far more intricate than we assume. Some forces that appear threatening might actually be protective, while others that seem benevolent could have hidden motives. Without discernment, people misinterpret what is truly happening around them, unknowingly aligning with energies they don't understand. This is why wisdom and spiritual awareness are crucial to navigating the unseen dimensions. Many believe the battle of good versus evil is as simple as recognizing darkness and choosing light, but the reality is far more deceptive. Some individuals who claim to bring enlightenment subtly lead others into spiritual bondage, while certain hardships that feel like attacks might be strengthening tests. The ancient texts often describe moments where what seems like destruction is actually divine intervention, separating the unworthy from those destined for greatness. Those who lack deeper insight fall victim to fear and misunderstanding, failing to grasp the deeper workings of spiritual warfare. This is why knowledge must always precede judgment when interpreting supernatural experiences. Throughout history, spiritual forces have influenced human lives in ways both direct and indirect. What appears to be misfortune or unexplained suffering could be a refinement process, a stripping away of illusions to reveal true purpose. Biblical figures like Job endured severe trials that seemed like punishment, but were actually permitted by God to strengthen his faith. Similarly, individuals today may face hardship not as an attack, but as a means of purification, ensuring they emerge prepared for greater responsibilities. Understanding this requires breaking away from simplistic thinking and embracing a broader spiritual perspective. Protection does not always come in the form people expect. Sometimes, what we perceive as loss or delay is actually divine intervention preventing a worse outcome. A job opportunity slipping away might save someone from a toxic environment, and a failed relationship could be a blessing in disguise. However, without the right perspective, many fail to see the hidden protection within their struggles. This is why faith is not merely about asking for blessings, but about trusting that unseen hands are always at work, guiding even through discomfort. Those with a higher awareness recognize these moments for what they truly are. The deception of appearances is a tactic often used in the spiritual battle. A gift that seems like a blessing might carry a hidden burden, while a struggle that feels like a curse may be a disguised breakthrough. This is why relying solely on what is visible is dangerous. Wisdom comes from recognizing that not everything that glows is light, and not everything that is dark is evil. True spiritual discernment is the ability to look beyond immediate circumstances and understand the greater plan at play. Without this skill, one remains vulnerable to manipulation from forces beyond comprehension. Spiritual knowledge transforms the way one perceives life, making it impossible to be deceived by surface-level appearances. Those who cultivate deeper understanding recognize that the world is not divided into simple categories of black and white. Instead, they see the shades of complexity that define true wisdom. When armed with this perspective, they become resistant to manipulation, no longer swayed by illusions crafted to mislead. As spiritual awareness grows, so does the ability to walk confidently, knowing that even unseen forces operate within divine order. There is something undeniable about those who carry divine purpose. The chosen ones radiate an energy that cannot be ignored, drawing attention wherever they go. This force is not always visible, but it is felt, stirring reactions both positive and negative. Those aligned with the light recognize this presence with admiration, while those in darkness feel threatened. It's why some people face inexplicable hostility, because their very existence disrupts the comfort of those who live in spiritual blindness. This power is not about superiority, but about responsibility, and those who possess it must learn to manage it wisely. This unique energy attracts both the good and the bad. Some will be drawn to it for guidance, while others will seek to extinguish it out of jealousy or fear. Many chosen ones struggle with the weight of this attention, wondering why they face resistance at every turn. The truth is, their presence alone challenges systems built on deception, exposing lies without even speaking a word. That's why those with spiritual insight often feel isolated, because their light forces everything around them into clarity, revealing truths that many would rather ignore. The chosen ones often experience strange encounters, as if unseen forces are constantly watching and reacting to their movements. Random strangers might approach them with deep insights or prophetic words, while others might show unexplained aggression. This is not coincidence, but a reflection of the spiritual world's response to their presence. Even without realizing it, these individuals alter the energy of any environment they enter. Their mere existence reminds others, both seen and unseen, of a reality beyond the physical. This special power is not something that can be hidden. Even if a chosen one tries to live quietly, their essence will always attract attention. It's why they are often misunderstood or targeted for no apparent reason. The spiritual battle is not fought with swords or fists, but through influence, perception, and energy. Some people will sense their presence and feel inexplicably uncomfortable without understanding why. This is because the light exposes what has been lurking in the shadows, making it impossible for darkness to hide. But with great power comes great responsibility. This gift is not meant for personal gain, but to serve a higher calling. Many chosen ones feel an internal pull toward deeper truths, a hunger for understanding that never fades. Their journey is not meant to be ordinary, which is why the challenges they face are anything but normal. The enemy does not waste time attacking those who are already lost. Instead, he targets those who have the greatest potential to make a difference. That is why the chosen ones experience battles most will never understand. Recognizing this power is the first step toward mastering it. Instead of feeling burdened by isolation or opposition, the chosen must see these experiences as confirmation of their purpose. The weight they carry is proof of their importance in the grand design. The question is not whether they will face resistance, but whether they will rise above it and step fully into their destiny. Those who embrace this truth will find that their struggles are not curses, but training, preparing them for an even greater spiritual reality. Spiritual warfare is not always fought in obvious ways. Demons rarely appear as monstrous beings, nor do they strike with brute force. Instead, they operate through subtlety, planting doubts, stirring fears, and influencing the minds of those closest to their targets. Their greatest weapon is manipulation, twisting reality just enough to make someone question their own path. Many people fall into spiritual traps not because they were physically attacked, but because their thoughts were subtly redirected. This is why those who seek divine purpose must develop discernment, or they will unknowingly become pawns in a greater battle. Manipulation is far more dangerous than direct confrontation. A physical attack is recognizable, but a whisper of doubt can reshape an entire life. Demons use tactics designed to weaken faith, presenting lies as logical conclusions, feeding insecurities, and making compromise seem harmless. They don't force destruction upon people. They make them choose it themselves. A seemingly innocent decision, like tolerating toxic influences, can open doors to spiritual downfall. By the time someone realizes they've strayed, they are already entangled in a web of deception, struggling to break free. One of the most effective methods of manipulation is through other people. The enemy rarely works alone. Instead, he influences those around you to plant negativity, discourage faith, and create unnecessary conflicts. A simple conversation can leave someone questioning their beliefs, feeling unworthy, or doubting their divine purpose. That's why it's crucial to be mindful of the words spoken over one's life. Not every voice comes from a place of truth. Some are carefully positioned to lead the chosen ones astray. Recognizing this pattern is the first step to resisting it. Demons understand human nature well. They know that people are driven by emotions, desires, and attachments. That's why they don't need to force destruction. They simply influence the choices that lead to it. For example, they won't tell someone to abandon their purpose. They will make distractions more appealing than dedication. They won't command someone to fall into sin. They will make it seem justifiable. Little by little, these small shifts in thinking create a path away from spiritual strength and into vulnerability. The battle is never about what's obvious. It's about what's unnoticed. Spiritual attacks often come disguised as personal struggles. Feeling overwhelmed, doubting one's worth, or facing unexpected hostility can all be signs of a greater unseen influence. Many times, people blame themselves for these struggles, not realizing they are being targeted by manipulation. This is why staying spiritually vigilant is necessary. Without awareness, one may fight the wrong battles, trying to fix external problems while ignoring the true source of the attack. The key is recognizing when thoughts and emotions are being used as weapons against one's faith. Understanding the enemy's tactics is not about fearing them, but about being prepared. Those who remain alert will notice patterns of manipulation before they take root. They will recognize when certain doubts, distractions, or temptations are not their own, but rather placed strategically to pull them off course. The real battle is not about avoiding attacks. It's about seeing them for what they are and refusing to be controlled. Once a person masters this, they become nearly impossible to manipulate, walking with a clarity that makes deception powerless. Not everything that appears helpful is truly beneficial. Some of the most dangerous spiritual influences do not come in the form of open threats, but rather as gifts, opportunities, or even friendships. The enemy understands that deception is far more effective than force, which is why darkness often presents itself as light. A well-placed offer, a tempting shortcut, or a person who seems too perfect can all be part of a carefully crafted illusion. Many who fall into spiritual traps do so not because they sought evil, but because they mistook its disguise for a blessing. This is why discernment is more valuable than intelligence alone. Logic can be fooled, but spiritual awareness allows a person to sense what is hidden beneath the surface. Sometimes, what seems like an answered prayer is actually a test of character. For example, a business deal that looks too good to be true might come with hidden consequences. A sudden connection with someone influential could be a distraction, designed to pull someone away from their true purpose. If something feels off, even slightly, it's worth questioning whether it truly comes from God. One of the most deceptive strategies of dark influences is their ability to blend in with everyday life. They do not always arrive as obvious dangers, but as small compromises that seem harmless at first. A little dishonesty, an innocent indulgence, or an overlooked warning sign can all be stepping stones toward deeper spiritual entrapment. The shift happens gradually, often unnoticed, until one day the person finds themselves entangled in something they never intended. It is in these seemingly insignificant decisions that the greatest battles are won or lost. Even well-intentioned people can unknowingly become carriers of dark influences. Advice given with the best intentions might be rooted in fear rather than faith. A friend who seems supportive might actually be planting seeds of doubt. This is why not every helping hand should be taken without thought. Just because someone claims to offer guidance does not mean they are leading in the right direction. Many spiritual attacks do not come from declared enemies, but from those who unintentionally serve as instruments of deception. Temptation is most effective when it appears harmless or even beneficial. Nobody would willingly drink poison, but if it is disguised as medicine, it becomes far more dangerous. This is how darkness works. It does not demand destruction. It suggests an easier path, a softer compromise, or an attractive alternative. The mind is often tricked before the soul is fully aware of what is happening. That is why constant vigilance is necessary, because not all dangers reveal themselves immediately. The most dangerous traps are the ones that look like gifts. The key to avoiding these disguised influences is to remain spiritually anchored. The stronger the connection to God, the clearer the signs of deception become. Those who rely solely on their own wisdom will struggle to see beyond the surface, while those who stay in alignment with divine truth will recognize warning signs before it's too late. Not every opportunity is a blessing, and not every friend is an ally. The ability to distinguish between the two is what separates those who stay on the right path from those who unknowingly walk toward their downfall. Spiritual warfare does not take breaks, nor does it operate on a visible battlefield. The struggle between light and darkness is constant, shaping thoughts, emotions, and decisions in ways most people never realize. Every day, unseen forces attempt to pull individuals away from their divine purpose, using distractions, doubts, and temptations as their weapons. The most dangerous battles are not fought with physical weapons, but within the mind and soul. Those who are unaware of this reality live as easy targets, influenced by forces they do not even recognize. But those who understand the nature of this war can learn how to fight back effectively. The intensity of spiritual attacks is not random. It is directly tied to a person's potential. The stronger someone's faith, the greater the effort to shake it. Those who are destined for greatness often face the most resistance, precisely because their presence threatens the darkness. It is not uncommon for people on the verge of breakthrough to experience overwhelming setbacks, sudden doubt, or unexplained difficulties. These moments are not coincidences. They are calculated attempts to discourage and derail. Recognizing this pattern is crucial, because once someone sees the battle for what it truly is, they can resist manipulation and remain steadfast. The battlefield of the mind is where most of these conflicts unfold. Thoughts of inadequacy, fear, and hopelessness are not always personal. They are often external influences meant to weaken spiritual strength. When someone begins to question their worth, their purpose, or their relationship with God, it is usually because they are under attack. The strategy is simple: make people feel powerless so they stop fighting. But the truth is, the mere fact that one is being targeted proves their significance in the grand scheme. Those who press forward despite these mental attacks often find themselves growing stronger than ever before. Every choice, no matter how small, contributes to either strengthening or weakening one's spiritual defense. The battle is constant, but so are the opportunities to stand firm. Daily habits, words spoken, and thoughts entertained all play a role in either fortifying or exposing one's spiritual armor. This is why vigilance is necessary. Ignoring the battle does not make it disappear. Instead, it leaves a person vulnerable to subtle influences they might not even notice. Awareness is the first step toward mastery, and mastery is what turns victims into warriors. Many assume that because they cannot see the battle, they're not affected by it. But in reality, every individual is part of this conflict, whether they acknowledge it or not. The decisions made each day, who to listen to, what to believe, how to react, are all part of the ongoing struggle between light and darkness. It is not enough to avoid evil. One must actively choose truth, clarity, and faith. Those who remain passive will inevitably be swayed, while those who engage intentionally will strengthen their ability to stand firm, regardless of the pressure. This war is one of endurance, not just strength. Those who win are not necessarily the ones who never stumble, but the ones who refuse to stay down. Battles will come, setbacks will happen, and doubts will arise. But the real test is not in avoiding struggle. It is in learning how to navigate it with wisdom. The more one understands a spiritual war, the less they are controlled by its tactics. Instead of reacting to every attack, they begin to anticipate them, knowing that victory is not about avoiding conflict, but about standing unshaken in the midst of it. True spiritual protection does not come from physical barriers, but from an unshakable connection with God. Many people try to protect themselves through routines, superstitions, or external defenses, but these do little against unseen forces. The real shield is built through faith, prayer, and alignment with divine truth. When a person is spiritually connected, they become less vulnerable to manipulation, deception, and negative influences. Their mind becomes sharper, their emotions steadier, and their decisions more guided. Without this connection, even the strongest individuals can find themselves lost, confused, and spiritually exhausted. Prayer is more than just words. It is the foundation of spiritual defense. Those who pray with sincerity build an unbreakable bond with the divine, making it harder for darkness to take root in their lives. A strong prayer life is like maintaining a constant shield, preventing negative forces from finding weaknesses to exploit. It is not about repeating memorized phrases, but about establishing a deep, personal communication with God. The stronger this relationship, the clearer one's intuition becomes, making it easier to recognize when something is trying to pull them off course. Meditation and reflection also play a crucial role in maintaining spiritual strength. Taking time to quiet the mind and listen for divine guidance allows a person to see beyond distractions and illusions. Many answers come not through loud signs, but through moments of stillness where truth is revealed. People who never pause to reflect often miss these revelations, making them more susceptible to outside influences. Wisdom is not just about knowing what to do, but about being able to recognize when something is leading them in the wrong direction before they step off the path. Discernment is a gift that grows stronger with spiritual practice. The more time spent in alignment with God, the easier it becomes to sense when something is right or wrong. Those who neglect this connection often find themselves second-guessing their instincts, unsure of which way to go. However, those who stay spiritually aware develop an inner compass that naturally steers them away from danger. This is why people who are truly protected don't just avoid evil. They recognize it before it has a chance to take hold. Faith must be more than just belief. It must be backed by action. Reading scripture, seeking wisdom, and surrounding oneself with spiritually strong individuals are all ways to reinforce protection. Isolation weakens spiritual defenses, while community strengthens them. A person who surrounds themselves with those who live in alignment with the divine will find it much harder to be swayed by negative forces. The battle is ongoing, but those who remain equipped with faith and wisdom will always have the upper hand. The strongest protection is not found in physical rituals, but in unwavering spiritual connection. When a person walks in alignment with the divine, they naturally repel what seeks to harm them. Their energy becomes resistant to negativity, and their mind becomes a fortress against deception. Those who nurture this connection daily find that no matter what obstacles arise, they are always guided back to the right path. True spiritual security is not about avoiding attacks. It is about being so deeply anchored in God that nothing can shake their foundation. There is something unmistakable about those who carry a divine calling. Their presence alone shifts the energy in any room, causing people to react, even if they don't understand why. Some are drawn to them with admiration, sensing an unexplainable wisdom and strength, while others feel uncomfortable, even threatened. This is not coincidence. The chosen radiates something different, something that disrupts the status quo. Even without speaking, they make an impact. This is why many of them experience rejection, opposition, or even hostility from people who don't know them personally. The light they carry exposes things that others prefer to keep hidden. People who walk in darkness can sense this energy immediately. It is not about physical appearance or status. It is something much deeper. When a chosen one enters a space, those aligned with negative influences feel uneasy, often without knowing why. It is a spiritual reaction, an instinctive discomfort when faced with truth, clarity, and divine purpose. This is why some people will dislike them without reason, try to discredit them, or attempt to push them away. It is not personal, it is spiritual warfare. Those who operate in deception feel exposed in the presence of someone who naturally carries light. At the same time, others will be inexplicably drawn to them. Strangers may approach with confessions, insights, or questions about life's deeper meaning. Some will see them as guides, mentors, or even protectors, recognizing their presence as a source of wisdom. It is common for chosen ones to be the ones people turn to in moments of crisis, even if they never actively sought that role. This is because their energy resonates on a different frequency, attracting those who are searching for truth and guidance. They become beacons of light, even when they are unaware of it. This recognition is not always easy to handle. Being a chosen one means standing out, often in ways that invite both admiration and resistance. Some days, it feels like a gift, other times like a burden. It can be exhausting to be constantly watched, judged, or misunderstood. Many chosen ones experience loneliness because they struggle to find others who truly understand what they carry. But this isolation is not punishment. It is preparation. Those who have been set apart must learn to navigate their path with strength, knowing that their role is not to blend in, but to lead. The reactions they receive from others are often a reflection of unseen spiritual realities. Some people will be drawn to them for the right reasons, while others will be repelled due to the hidden battles they are fighting within themselves. Understanding this prevents unnecessary frustration. Instead of taking rejection personally, the chosen must realize that their presence alone is part of the battle. Their existence is a statement, a living proof of divine purpose. They do not need to prove anything. Their energy speaks louder than words. This level of recognition is both a responsibility and a test. The chosen must remain grounded in their purpose, resisting both the praise that inflates the ego and the opposition that seeks to break them. Those who truly understand their role know that they are not here for validation, but for impact. Their presence alone is a disruption to the forces that seek to keep others in darkness. The question is not whether they will be recognized, it is how they will respond once they are. Not everything that comes into your life as a blessing is truly meant for your good. Some of the most dangerous traps arrive in the form of opportunities, favors, or even unexpected kindness. The enemy understands that deception is most effective when it looks appealing. A seemingly harmless friendship, a sudden financial opportunity, or a tempting shortcut can all be spiritual bait. Many who have lost their way did not fall because they were attacked directly, but because they accepted something that seemed too good to refuse. The key to avoiding these traps is learning to recognize when a gift is not a gift at all. Manipulation often hides behind generosity. Some offers are designed not to help, but to create dependency. A small favor today can lead to an obligation tomorrow. An alliance that seems harmless might come with invisible chains. This is why discernment is necessary. If something comes with strings attached, it is not a blessing. It is a contract. The enemy does not always take. Sometimes he gives, but his gifts are poisoned. Many people have exchanged their peace, their purpose, or even their faith for something that appeared beneficial, but ultimately led to their downfall. The danger of disguised gifts is that they do not look like threats. A relationship that starts as supportive can slowly become toxic. A financial opportunity that seems like a breakthrough can turn into a curse of endless stress and compromise. Darkness does not announce itself. It whispers promises of ease, success, and security while hiding the long-term cost. This is why patience and wisdom are crucial. If something seems too perfect, too convenient, or too effortless, it is worth questioning where it truly comes from. Even well-intentioned people can unknowingly offer dangerous gifts. Advice given out of fear instead of faith can lead someone away from their destiny. A job recommendation from a friend might place someone in an environment that slowly erodes their morals. Not every open door is meant to be walked through. This is why the chosen must develop the habit of testing every opportunity before accepting it. A true blessing from God does not require compromising one's values, integrity, or inner peace. If it does, it is not from Him. Temptation is most powerful when it appears to be a reward. A shortcut to success, an easy escape from hardship, or a chance to bypass struggle can seem like divine favor. But true growth never comes without challenge, and true rewards do not require one to betray their principles. Many who have fallen did not do so in moments of weakness, but in moments of overconfidence, when they thought they could accept something without consequences. Recognizing the cost of every gift is the difference between moving forward in strength and walking into spiritual bondage. Those who understand this truth begin to approach life differently. They no longer accept everything that is offered to them without discernment. They listen beyond words, watch beyond appearances, and test the spirit behind every opportunity. Not every helping hand is sent by God, and not every door is meant to be opened. The greatest defense against disguised gifts is a strong connection with divine guidance. Those who walk in wisdom will never be easily fooled, because they know that some gifts are meant to trap, not to bless. The greatest challenge for those who walk in truth is not just finding the light, but keeping it. The world is filled with forces trying to dim what shines too brightly, whether through distractions, temptations, or subtle discouragement. Many start strong in their faith and purpose, but slowly lose their fire because they do not protect it. Spiritual strength is like a flame. It must be shielded from the winds of negativity, deception, and doubt. Those who do not actively guard their light will find it flickering, dimming, and, in some cases, disappearing entirely. The key to maintaining it is intentionality. One of the most effective ways to protect spiritual light is through daily discipline. Prayer, reflection, and studying divine wisdom act as fuel, keeping the flame burning despite external pressures. Just as a warrior sharpens his sword daily, a person must sharpen their spirit to remain resilient. Many who once burned with purpose lost their way simply because they neglected their spiritual routine. Strength is not built in moments of crisis, but in everyday actions. Those who remain consistent in their practices become unshakable, even when storms come. Emotional stability is another pillar of keeping one's light intact. Negative emotions like fear, anger, and anxiety act as spiritual drains, weakening a person's strength over time. The enemy knows that if he can control emotions, he can manipulate decisions. This is why maintaining inner peace is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Choosing to operate from a place of wisdom rather than reaction keeps a person aligned with their purpose. The chosen are not meant to be easily provoked. Their power lies in their ability to stay calm and focused even in chaotic situations. The environment one surrounds themselves with plays a crucial role. Light is easier to maintain when it is not constantly battling darkness. Toxic relationships, negative conversations, and unhealthy influences slowly erode spiritual strength. Many fall not because of direct attacks, but because they allowed themselves to remain in places that drain their energy. It is not about living in isolation, but about being intentional with connections. Those who surround themselves with others who walk in the light will find it easier to keep their own flame burning. The final test is endurance. The world will always push against those who carry divine purpose, trying to exhaust them into surrender. But true warriors understand that their strength does not come from themselves. It comes from their connection to God. The more they rely on this source, the more they are able to withstand pressures that would break others. The battle is not about being perfect, but about refusing to quit. Many give up not because they lack the ability to continue, but because they forget that victory belongs to those who simply refuse to be extinguished. Keeping one's light intact is not about avoiding struggles, but about outlasting them. Those who walk with divine purpose must understand that challenges will come, but so will breakthroughs. The real question is whether they will allow the world to dim their fire, or if they will stand firm, shining despite the pressure. The strongest light is the one that refuses to be put out. Those who master this understanding become unstoppable, walking through life with a clarity that no force can take away. Now that you see the battle for what it truly is, the real question remains: how will you respond? Will you continue to let unseen forces manipulate your path? Or will you take control of your destiny through wisdom and discernment? The chosen ones are not meant to live blindly, stumbling through deception and confusion. They are meant to rise above, to recognize the hidden strategies at play, and to move with confidence. The greatest weapon you have is awareness, because once you see the game, you can no longer be played. But seeing is not enough. Action is required. How many moments in your life have been altered by unseen influences? How often have you mistaken a disguised trap for a blessing, or resisted something that was actually meant to strengthen you? The difference between those who remain lost and those who find true spiritual power is simple: the ability to discern. Your mind, your faith, and your decisions must be sharpened daily. This is not a war fought with physical strength, but with clarity, strategy, and divine wisdom. Those who fail to prepare will always be vulnerable, but those who stand firm will walk paths that few ever reach. The world will continue to test you, and the forces around you will react to the light you carry. The question is, will you let them dictate your life, or will you take command of your own spiritual journey? The more you understand, the stronger you become. So if you're ready to go even deeper into these truths and unlock the power that has been hidden from most, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. You were never meant to walk this path alone. There is more to be revealed, and what comes next will change everything. Stay connected, because this is just the beginning.